In this quick video, we're going to have a look at how I think you should have approached the question 2 on your Nazi Germany mock exam. The question read as follows. Choose one and explain its importance in challenging the government of the Weimar Republic. You could have chosen either the Spartacist Revolt or the Kapp Putsch. As ever, the first thing you need to do if you're confronted with this sort of question is figure out what the question is actually asking you. If you don't know what you're going to write about, if you don't know why you're writing about it before you put pen to paper, you are going to end up wasting time. So what do you need to look at? What do you need to identify in this question? First of all, you want to figure out what the topic of your question is. In this case, you have a choice of two. You can either write about the Spartacist Revolt or the Kapp Putsch. Most of you decided to write about the Kapp Putsch. You then need to figure out what the command term is. This is telling you what it is you need to do with the information. In this case, you are going to have to explain something about the Kapp Putsch. And in this case, the focus is the importance in challenging the government of the Weimar. It's not asking you to explain in detail why the putsch happened. It's not asking you in detail for what happened as a consequence of the Kapp Putsch or why it failed. It's asking you why it was important in challenging the government of the Weimar Republic. So what's the examiner going to be looking at as they're looking at your answer? It's important to know what the examiner is doing and what they are thinking. That's the only way you're going to make sure that you get the marks you want and you deserve. Pause the video as and when is needed to make sure you are fully aware of the different levels for this 9-mark question. Although that mark scheme may look quite complicated, in reality it is extremely simple and it is always almost exactly the same for the 9-marker. Level 1 is always the same. Some accurate detail, might be vague. Level 2, you need to give a detailed description with facts, with detail that are about the topic. And level 3, you need to answer the question by making sure you stick to the focus and you adhere to the command. You might find it useful to view this as a kind of ladder. You cannot give substantial detail unless you've given at least something accurate first. You cannot give an explanation that actually has any clout or support unless you have given a detailed description of what you're talking about first, at which point you're ready to really answer the question with the support of the detail you've already given in order to achieve the top marks that you want. So let's have a look at an example. Have a read of everything that is within the highlighted section of this answer. This is somebody's attempt at question 2. What level would you give it? Is that given some detail that's generally about the Kapp Putsch? Has that given a detailed description of what the Kapp Putsch was, where it came from, and how the events unfolded? Has that explained in clear terms the importance of the Kapp Putsch on the government of the Weimar Republic? I awarded this answer a level 1. Unfortunately, guys, if you do not know the content of the course, you are not going to be able to leave level 1. Doesn't matter how intelligent you are. Without clout to your answer, you are going to really struggle. This is why revision is absolutely essential. Let's have a look at another example. Have a read of this example. Where do you think this falls? Does it give at least some vague detail that's relevant to the Kapp Putsch? Further to that, is it giving some detail, a detailed description perhaps, of the Kapp Putsch as it happened? And finally, is it clearly telling you the reasons why it was important to the government of the Weimar Republic at the time? Which level would you give it? I awarded this in the middle band. However, what this candidate has done is shown us in the clearest possible terms how it is you climb up into the top band without quite taking the step themselves. Have a look at the section that I highlight here. This candidate really earmarks for the marker where it is that they are stopping their description and going on to actually explaining the importance. Have a look at what's highlighted. This was important in challenging the government of the Weimar Republic as it. And it continues to have an attempt at an explanation. The reason why I wouldn't give this a top level is twofold. Number one, I don't think there's quite enough detail throughout the answer to justify a top band. Number two, I don't think that the explanation is quite as convincing as it could be. It doesn't, for example, consider the fact that the cap putsch in fact failed due to the labourers and the workers turning against Cap and refusing to work for him. In reality, although the cap was a success for a time militarily, in the long run it failed because it simply didn't have popular support. And critically, this showed its importance in challenging the government of the Weimar because it provided a challenge that the Weimar actually passed, which proves that they at least had some strength or some support within the working class. That's how we link things back into the actual question itself.